Hi guys, how are you doing? Alright, so this video is a gist video about my pregnancy journey, my labor journey, or should I say my delivery journey, and postpartum, right? Okay, so first, a lot of my friends have not actually sat down or had the time to gist each of my friends, the whole process. It's just like bits and pieces for everyone. So this video is just going to be a very long video, not very long. I'll try to split it up into bits, and yeah, just sit back, relax, grab a tea, and even grab my own tea, and yeah, let's gist. All right, so I found out I was pregnant. I think it was October or November of 2021. Yeah. Now I didn't really know the last day of my last period. They always ask you that. When did you see your period last? This time, unfortunately, I didn't even put it in my period tracker. So my expected due date was being calculated either June or July. So I was preparing to give birth June or July because I didn't even know. All right, so yeah, my pregnancy journey or my pregnancy experience, I was sick throughout. When I say sick, I mean I was vomiting most of the time. I was feeling nauseous, and this lasted until the second trimester. It was my third trimester that I started feeling normal. My energy levels were back to it used to be. The first two trimesters, it was hell for me because, the pain. Like anytime you see me, just know that I'm having back pain. Because for some reason, the baby just decided to, just lean or kick or put something on my spinal cord. There was this consistent back piercing pain and my waist. Like I wasn't myself, seriously. So sometimes in the night I would just cry. Not just at night. I just like wail and weep, literally, because it wasn't crying. You know this type of cry that mucus will be coming from your nose. I'm laughing now, but it wasn't funny, right? So yeah, cravings. I didn't really have that much craving. I know that I ate a lot of bread and butter, but it wasn't a do or die affair. Now, if my husband comes to the comments to say, okay, it was a do or die affair, it wasn't. He's lying, okay? Even till now, I still eat a lot of bread and butter. I think that's even what added, or what's causing my weight gain, though. So yeah, weight gain. Speaking of weight gain, I didn't gain that much weight when I was pregnant. I only gained 6 pounds. So I was, I think 49 kg. Towards the end of my pregnancy, I was 56 kg. So let's say 7 kg. I added 7 kg throughout my pregnancy. And what else? Yeah, it's even after pregnancy that I'm blowing up, man. I'm blowing up. But that's going to be a story for another day. Now, cravings, yeah, like I said, I didn't have that much cravings. Energy levels, like I said earlier, very low. What else? Yeah, I was an emotional mess. I didn't even know how I functioned at work, seriously, but I got the work done. I didn't take my maternity leave until the end, like on my 9th month. That's when I actually took my maternity leave. So for antenatal, I did my antenatal in Air Force Hospital, Nigeria. Yeah, the people there were really nice. I learned a whole lot about, how to take care of a baby, what to expect during labor and all of that. Because there were like different classes. And It was like every other Thursday, I think, and I went regularly towards the end of my pregnancy. So mind you, at that time, my husband was leaving the country, and it was agreed that I was going to stay back and, give birth so that I can get the family support that I wouldn't have if I was going to go with him, right? So from Lagos, I was planning to go back to Umahia, where my parents live. And mind you, before all of this, I've been considering doing CS. It's not because of anything, because I just didn't see myself pushing out from down there, And my pain threshold was is still really low. I cannot handle pain at all. Okay, so I was considering, knock me off, cut me open, take out the baby, close me up, I'm good to go, But then, or I was also considering pushing, but with epidural. The hospital I was doing antenatal, they didn't really believe that much in CS. They only did CS when it was an emergency. I also asked, hey, do you guys have epidural? Or do you guys offer epidural? They said, no, we are going to, give you tender loving care until, the baby comes. LOL. Can't be me. Anyway, I started researching about, places that I can, or should I say hospitals I can get an epidural, and the amount I was seeing was like ₦1,000,000 plus. How much is the baby? Anyway, so that's actually where I was at that period. Now, a few weeks, or should I say a month to my due date, I was expected to give birth on the 22nd of July, plus minus 2 weeks. So like a month to my due date, we just decided I would just join my husband, because, when you start thinking of traveling with a newborn baby, the hassle was just not worth it. Now, I was certified to fly. I was certified fit to fly, actually. And yeah, I boarded the plane and I traveled to the UK. Immediately I landed, I had to go and register for a GP because I know that this baby is going to drop anytime soon. So I located a GP near me. I registered. Now the GP, they gave me a midwife, So they give you a midwife. So for your antenatals, for your blood test, checking the baby, all those teachings that we did in groups in Nigeria, they actually give you your own personal midwife to do all that with you. So now the midwife would actually, give you everything that you need, your antenatal vitamins, all free. Now, I went online to check, do I get to pay for delivery or any other thing? Or is it covered under the NHS that I have, But the answers were not really straightforward, because I kept seeing you're going to pay, or some people will say, oh, it's free for citizens and all of that. So I even asked them at the hospital, do I get to pay? They said they don't know until after the whole thing happens. So meanwhile, I was praying, I'm like, I do not want to spend any extra money, because the NHS money I already paid is a lot. So this better be covered. Now, from the GP, I had to pick a hospital close to me where I was going to give birth. So they gave me a list of hospitals to pick. So I just picked the one that was closest to me, right? So, and then I was actually meant to go report to the hospital, because number one, they don't really have that much of my medical records. And then, they just had to do the final checks before the baby comes, because the baby is going to come very soon. So I went to the hospital. They did all the tests again, all the tests that I've been doing in Nigeria. They had to do it again, because obviously they didn't have my records. And they also had to request for some of my records from the hospital I was attending my antenatal, so they can have an idea how the pregnancy has been going, right? So they just asked me basic questions. Now, mind you, when I went to the hospital, they asked me, when I was registering for my GP, they didn't really ask me to bring anything, any proof of anything. I just had to fill the form and all of that. But now when I went to the hospital, they asked me for my proof of address, they asked me for my marriage certificate, they asked me for my partner's documents, the basic passport and all of that. I had to bring all of that to the hospital before I got registered in the hospital to give birth. I don't know if that was a normal process, but that is what happened in my case, right? So yeah, my doctor in Nigeria actually sent over my files, or should I say, yeah, my medical records, so that the doctor that I was assigned to could, go through it. I was just giving the basic lecture as to, what to expect and, when to come back to the hospital. I was giving, consecutive appointments because, like I said, they need to monitor me closely because they do not have any of my medical records at all. Now, 25th has passed. No baby. So my sister-in-law advised me I need to go and be more active. Mind you, before now I've been active. I've been cleaning and walking around, but this one I had to go and exercise. So on the 27th, I took a walk around the area. I did squats. Everything was fine. But then, early morning of the 28th of July 2022, I started feeling weird. Now, mind you, prior to now, I haven't had any false labor. So I don't even know how the false labor feels like. So when I started having contractions, I just felt like, okay, maybe it's false labor. Finally, I get to experience false labor. Now, but then when I peed, you know how when you're on your period, you pee and you clean up and you see blood? That's what I saw when I peed. That happened like 2 times. And then I now started timing the contractions. So it started with like 10 minutes intervals. Then it started getting closer, like 5 minutes intervals, So I had to start timing all of that when my contractions were coming. When I noticed that, man, this is becoming more severe and is becoming closer apart, I had to go to the hospital. So got an Uber, went to the hospital. When I got there, they checked me. They're like, oh, you're just 4 centimeters. You can go home and come back. And I'm like, nah, I live so far away. I cannot go and come back. Give me a bed or a chair to stay. This is where I'm staying until this baby comes. So yeah, they gave me a labor room to stay. Very nice, cute. You know how there's like private rooms? That's how it is. So I'm not sure I have a picture of it or a video of it. If I do, I'll just attach it to the video. Now they give me they now give me paracetamol. As if that will help with anything. They gave me paracetamol, then they gave me this anesthesia. Is it anesthesia? I don't even know. Just know that they gave me a gas to inhale to reduce the pain. So that was the only 2 painkillers I was leaving off during that period. So now, I think like 2 hours after, someone else came and checked me. I was like 6 centimeters. They're like, oh no, you can't go home now. We need to wheel you into the delivery ward. That's how I went from the labor room to the delivery room. That's where the whole thing started. My dear, baby girl was in pain, like excruciating pain. I have never experienced such pain in my life. I used to have painful cramps during ovulation and maybe my period, but I was screaming. I was screaming. Nobody helped me. My sister-in-law. Mind you, I was with my sister-in-law because my husband was still on the way. So my sister-in-law is like, oh no, you're strong, you can do this. I'm like, what is this woman talking about? I'm dying. So mind you, in the labor room, I had already spoken to my parents. They did the prayer, the Nigerian parent prayer. You shall give birth like a Hebrew woman in the mighty name of Jesus. Nothing shall happen to you. Then my father was singing all those his praise, worship Igbo songs. So anyway, in the labor room, A midwife came, like, I need to let you know your options. If you know you can't handle the pain of the contractions that you're feeling, just know that we can give you something to numb the pain or to ease the pain. Huh? Auntie? You're telling me now? Give me everything. So it's okay, so I just need to read the side effects for you. So it's going in here, leaving from here, because you guys are going to give me all your painkillers. First they gave me morphine. Am I a joke to you? The thing wasn't working. Mind you, all of this happening, my water hasn't broken. Yeah, so you know, in movies I've been watching that immediately you get into labor, your water will break. My water was intact, it was just there, didn't break. So yeah, people were just coming in back and forth. God, it lasted for a lifetime. They were just giving me water because, mind you, they said it's not allowed to eat. Can I just have like a cookies or a crackers or something? No. They were just giving me water, I was vomiting it. Giving me water, I was puking it. I would drink, I would vomit. So they gave me like a paper vomit thingy. So as I was drinking from the cup, I was vomiting it into the basin. Oh my goodness, I was tired, I was exhausted. The pain was unbearable. I'm like, is this even worth it? You know? They would have just caught me taking this stuff out. Man, I don't even know at what point I just decided that, man, I'll just give birth natural, like through my vagina and not, you know. But that decision happened. I made that decision, and as long as they were going to give me painkillers, I was fine. So now they are waiting for the anesthesiologist to come, because he's the one that is going to give me the stuff. I think his name, well, anyway, I've forgotten his name, but he was the best thing that ever happened to me that day. So he came again, and he now said, I think they give you the thing towards when they know that the labor is getting serious. You know, when you, I don't know how it works, but let me tell you, half of the things that happened in that room, I cannot remember. So he said he was going to come back, let him get his stuff. 10 minutes passed, uncle hasn't come back. So mind you, while I was waiting for uncle to come, by uncle I mean the anesthesiologist, I just felt this surge when the nurse was gisting me about her own kids, you know, how it's going to be worth it. She has 3 of her own. She just needs to make it 1 more. I'm like, and go through all this stuff. She's like, nah, I won't remember this after, you know. So as we were gisting the gist now, mind you, the gist was happening, you know, the phase where after the contraction, that middle rest period before the next contract, that's when all this gist was happening. So as we were doing the gist, I just felt, that was my water breaking. And when this water broke, I thought that the pain I was feeling before was, you know, painful. When this water broke, all hell broke loose. It was crazy. So, luckily for me, the anesthesiologist came, told me to stay still. They put something in my spine, put something there, put the tools, blah, blah, blah. I laid back, they propped me up. They gave me a button. They're like, if you feel pain, just press this button. It will release the drugs into your system. Man, I was just pressing it. Mind you, the person that pregnanted me was already on ground. He didn't see me suffering all that much. It's now when my suffering was reducing because of the pain that he came. But he held my hand, he tried. And he was telling me how strong I am. Anyway, I really enjoyed pressing the button, you know, as the pain comes, I'll press the button, you know, I was feeling relaxed, you know. I was still feeling pressure that I need to, you know, push out something, but I didn't feel that excruciating pain again, right? So, yeah, that's how they now told me that the baby's head is stuck somewhere, blah, 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 that they need to cut me like they need to make a cut to so that the baby's head can pass through and all of that. Mind you, it's just going to be a small cut. I'm not going to feel it. I wasn't feeling any pain at this point, so anything you do down there, I don't even know. So okay, so they made the cut, so they had to tell me when to push, because like I said, since when you're in labor, it's the pain that actually tells you when to push. At this point, I didn't know when to push. I just felt pressure. So since they were down there seeing the situation of the whole thing, they had to tell me when to push. So when they told me to push, I pushed, I relaxed, I pushed again, I relaxed. After like maybe 5 pushes, the guy came out. Yeah. So yeah, they cleaned the baby up. Someone else was attending to me, stitched me, cleaned me. I think that was like around past, was that past 10 or past 11? Now mind you, we spent a little time with the baby and my husband, and he had to go because for some reasons visitors are not allowed to stay over. It's not like our hospitals in Nigeria that, you know, you have your support system with you, you know. So he had to leave that night. As late as it was, he had to leave to come back in the morning during visiting hours. So yeah, it was, I think it was smooth, kinda. Yeah, it was a smooth one. It was a smooth one. Now, mind you, after the epidural, I was wheeled, after the whole delivery cleanup and all of that, I was wheeled to where I was going to stay. So I stayed in a, yeah, it was like a ward because we were like 6 ladies demarcated with this, you know, these hospital curtains. That's how we were, it was demarcated. So I was wheeled to one of the corners there. I couldn't feel my legs. Somebody came and gave me a, you know, a wipe down, just a wipe down. And yeah, I couldn't feel my leg. They installed catheter there. My first time getting catheters, having an IV line installed. There's been a lot of things I haven't gone through, but I did go through it during this pregnancy. So that's how that day ended. So yeah, that's actually it about my pregnancy / birth story. Postpartum is going to be another story. Probably make it after this, but just, you know, subscribe to the channel, you know, turn on your notifications just so that you know when I post it. All right. So yeah, thank you so much for everyone that checked up on me during this whole process. I know I have been MIA. A lot has been happening with my physical health, my emotional health, even my spiritual health. You know, a lot of things have been happening. And yeah, thank you for everyone that stuck around, my friends that I haven't talked to in a long time. Man, I'm sorry, girls. I'm sorry, guys. I'll make it up to you, okay? So thank you again and enjoy the rest of your day.